Each universe of infinite space has its own central sun, and the sum of such spiritual suns constitutes the Ein Sof Hour, the protocosmos, the solar absolute. If we look at the tree of life, as it is written by the Hebrew Kabbalists, we see 10 Sephiroth. An ancient Chaldean manuscript affirms, "And in your hands I tell you that there is the number of the name of the Father, who is the source of light. There are 10 commandments, and the number in our hands is represented by the 10 fingers, or the 10 Sephiroths of the Kabbalah, which form the tree of life." It begins with the Ancient of Days, KETHER, who is in the highest place of the tree. Actually, each one of us has a venerable elder at the bottom of his conscience. This is the first Logos. The Kabbalists call it KETHER. The Ancient of Days is the first terribly divine emanation of the absolute abstract space. The Ancient of Days is original in each man and in the Father. There are as many fathers in heaven as there are men on earth. The Ancient of Days is the hidden of the hidden, the mercy of mercy, the goodness of goodness, the root of our being, the great wind. The science of numbers and the art of the will are the two keys to magic, said the priests of Memphis. They open all the doors of the universe. Then follows Chokmah, the second Sephiroth, that is, the second Logos, which is properly the cosmic Christ or Vishnu. Then comes Bina, the third Logos, Lord Shiva. Kether, Chokmah, and Bina are the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, just as it is drawn on the tree of life of the Hebrew mysteries. So the rabbis taught it. Kether, Chokmah, and Bina are the Trimurti of perfection. They are the divine triangle, the very beloved Father, the very adored Son, and the very wise Holy Spirit. They live in the depths of our superlative consciousness, awaiting the supreme moment of our self-realization. The first triangle, that is, the Logoic, has its center of gravitation. It is the Divine Father, the Ancient of Days, KETHER. It is the mathematical point in the immense, infinite, unalterable space. The Logoic or divine triangle is so called because it contains the three Logos, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. After the divine triangle, there is an abyss, and after such an abyss comes a second triangle formed by Chesed, the fourth Sephiroth, that corresponds to the innermost or Atman the ineffable, speaking in Sanskrit language, represents the spirit, the intimate, our personal inner Father, that seventh principle that exists in beings but that humans do not have. In the world of Atman, one feels a complete man. Here, the intellectual animal is not man. The initiate feels full of immense plenitude. There, that world is real in the most objective sense. Its negative part is the physical world. The world of Atman is a positive state. There you can see a city in its most real form. There you can see a table everywhere, above, below, inside, outside. The same happens with a mountain. In a kitchen, you can see how many atoms a spoon is made of, how many molecules the bread or meat contains. We not only perceive solids in their entirety, but also hypersolids, including the exact quantity of atoms that together constitute the totality of any body. If the student is not prepared, he is disappointed because he finds himself in a world with the harshest realism. This is the world of mathematics. There you can see the drama of nature. There one is a spectator of nature. The world of mathematics is the world of Atman. Know yourself. It's said on the back of the cover of the temples of mysteries of ancient Greece. This is the very purpose of existence, that man knows himself as a son of God, as God himself on earth, so that it becomes a beautiful garden where freedom, equality, and fraternity are the law of love. For all men. This is the wonderful key to the power of all magicians of all time. Look, say the sacred scriptures, today I have set before you life and good, death and evil. The intimate is God in man. The man who ignores this great truth is only a shadow, the shadow of his innermost. The legitimate individuality is the being, and the reason for being of the being is the being itself. Geburah continues, the rigor of the law, the fifth Sephiroth, the Buddhi, the divine soul that is feminine. Then follows Tifereth, the sixth Sephiroth, the human soul which is masculine. We have incarnated within himself a fraction of the human soul. Such a fraction is called essence. In Japanese Zen, it is simply called the Buddhata. It is the psychic material with which the soul can and should be manufactured. The world of Tifereth is the world of will. In that world, only the will of the Father is done, as well in heavens as on earth. When the human will opposes the will of the Father, he commits a crime of lèse-majesté against the intimate. It is a world that is beyond the mind. It is of an intense electric blue color. There are many other colors, but the fundamental one is blue. In that world, music, sound, prevails. There is the temple of the music of the spheres. The marriage of Guinevere, the divine Amazon, the divine soul with the night, the human soul, is a marvelous event in which we experience a radical transformation because the buddhi is like a fine and transparent alabaster vase within which burns the flame of prajna, the self. The Hindustani esoteric texts constantly mention the famous Trimurti, Atman Buddhi Manas. This is the intimate with its two souls, the spiritual soul, female, and the human soul, male. He and she, Buddhi and Manas, are the twin souls within ourselves. Jebara is the rigor of the law of justice. It is the Buddhi, the spirit soul, the Valkyria of which that distinguished Spanish writer Don Mario Rosso de Luna spoke to us. It is the beautiful Helena, etc. Thus, in Gebura we find the rigor of the law, but we also find the nobility of the lion, so the intuitional Buddhic world is completely solar. The world of Gebura is based on justice. The masters of karma rely on the conscience to judge in the court of karma. If we analyze the second triangle, we find that it is ethical. Why do we call it ethical? Because simply there ethics prevails. Right conduct. There we know the rigor of the law. There we come to know the good and the bad, what is good and bad. This triangle is the world of the pure spirit, the Hindustani Trimurti of Atman, Buddhi, Manas.